From deep in the heart of Beverly Hills, you found For Love and Chocolate with Mr. and Mrs. Truffles.
Good morning. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
We are Tommy and Tara Gala.
Also known as
Mr. and Mrs. Truffles.
Mr. and Mrs. Truffles.
That's right. And we are here to talk to you about love and chocolate.
Because we know a little bit about both. Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's very exciting. It's almost like being at Cape Canaveral, readying for the launch of Atlantis, or whatever it was that they were.
That's not the one that blew up.
Okay, Jesus. No, we're not watching Challenger take off. What's wrong with you? No, but this is exciting. This is our podcast.
This is our life.
We are the proud owners of Beverly Hills Toysher, a Swiss chocolate company, 92 years in the making. We're one of 14 stores in the world, and we're there in the heart of Beverly Hills. It's been there for 43 years now. We've personally owned it for 5 years, and it's just been a real passion play for us, hasn't it?
We've learned that love and chocolate really seem to go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. They really do.
Yeah.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
There's so many people come in buying gifts for loved ones, for the special someone in their lives. We've heard so many beautiful stories.
Yeah, and it just, people seem to have a real visceral reaction and a connection with our chocolate. There's always some story, and it's almost always based around love. There's a love theme. And that was kind of the seminal moment where you figured, you know what? This would make a beautiful podcast. If we could just talk to people about their origin story, how they fell in love, what love means to them, how they've kept it going all these years, and maybe how chocolate played a part in it.
Yeah, it's really been a journey, and we have heard so many sweet, moving, lovely stories.
We do. I feel like part of it, it's kind of built in, because when people come into the shop, they're already happy. They're coming in to buy chocolate, right? So if we can elevate that experience a little bit more, well, then it's a joy. It's a joy to come to the shop every day, but it's really a joy doing it with you. It's so interesting how this all came about for us, how the shop came about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have been working in Hollywood for 30 years as an actor, and I don't think any of those roles were ever as a chocolatier, were they? It was a role that you hadn't prepared for.
Maybe one that I was meant to play.
But definitely one you were meant to play.
Yeah.
And we have really gotten to know so many personal, lovely love stories.
Mm-hmm.
And we have so much fun with everybody. We just kind of wanted to bring some of that magic.
That was what was the maybe the impetus for you to say to me, hey, we need to do this. We need to have a podcast.
We really want to share some of this. There is just so much joy and magic going on in that little shop. And it should be shared.
Yeah. And so this podcast is really designed to introduce you, our listeners, to couples that have been together for 10, 20, 30 years and hearing their origin stories. What was that moment when you first met? When did you know you were in love? What was that courtship like? How do you keep it going? How do you keep it alive? How do you keep the spark going? How do you keep the sizzle going?
How they keep it going and what advice do they have for others?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you and I, we met later in life, didn't we?
A little later.
A little bit later. And, oh, girl, the sizzle is there every day.
It's an ongoing courtship.
Because you make it fun.
You make me laugh all the time. And in addition to that, we want to help other people who maybe haven't found love yet to find love. We hear the single girls complaining. We hear the guys. Well, just yesterday, a gentleman was in, and he's like, how do I get a girl to really, notice me in that way? Yeah. People ask us. And I had some advice for him, but he wasn't listening.
Did it have anything to do with champagne truffles?
Yeah, it did.
It did. Yeah,
that was a starter, for sure. I don't think he understood that.
We can put it out there. We can't make him.
Can lead a horse to water.
That's exactly right.
And we welcome your questions.
Mailbag! Ever since we put it out there and we asked our listeners and friends and family to just shoot us questions, love questions, relationship questions, so that we could maybe dissect them and try to just give them a kernel of hope and love and truth.
We are the Dear Abby of love and chocolate.
It's so true. So, without further ado,
What's our first? What's our
Our
first
first,
quandary?
okay, well, let's go to the bag here.
All right.
Okay, dear Mr. and Mrs. Truffles, I'm a 35-year-old man. I work in finance, and I do okay, but I've been going on a lot of dates, mostly with women I meet online, and it's pretty expensive to pick up the check every time. Is it okay to expect the dates to chip in? Some of my friends are saying they split the bills on their dates, signed, some guy on the west side. Well, I've got a very strong opinion of this. Some guy on the west side. What's wrong with you, man? Come on. Gotta man up. Your friends that split the bills? Oh, I bet those losers are still single too. No, you can't do that. Sorry. Can't split the bill. Sorry if it's old school, but when you are taking a lady out for the first time, you must treat her like a goddess. There's no dissing, no naysaying, no negging. They say the neg, right?
I don't know about that.
Well, that's another story another time. But you have to open the door for her. You have to compliment her. You have to be attentive. You've got to be making eye contact. You've got to be a good listener. And for God's sake, man, pick up the check. Pick up the check. Or you are destined for a lifelong friendship.
Yeah, you got to pick up the check.
Pick
Look,
up the
you know
check.
what? People are wired a certain way. People don't change, and men are supposed to pick up the check.
Yep.
It's their way of showing their intentions, their respect, that they're going to take care of you.
Yep.
They're going to provide for you.
Yep.
I think it's really important to adhere to certain traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're looking for love, if you're just looking to have as many fun dates as you can in a short amount of time, then and you're not interested in finding love,
Yeah.
well, poor you, because you're missing out on the best thing in life. But also, I guess you could go ahead and ask them to split the bill, but
Oof.
it's not going anywhere.
It just doesn't feel.
And if
it's
it does go anywhere, it's not going to be as good as it could
it's
be.
not going to be as sexy as it could be, right?
No. Hard pass on that.
I don't think I asked you to
Some
pick
guy
up
on the west
you didn't
side.
pick
You
up
are
the-
some guy.
I don't think I asked you to pick up the bill until I never have I?
No.
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 Okay. Well, I think this is the home stretch. Are you ready for this one?
Oh, yeah.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Truffles, my spouse and I have been married for 2 years, and it seems like the sparkle has been fading. This has given me anxiety. This is my first marriage, and his third. Is this normal? Well, Mrs. Truffles is someone who's been married many, many, many times.
I have been married more than
Me?
you have. I mean, to be fair, I was widowed at a young age.
Yes.
So,
That's
but what I can say is I do know about, the regular. I mean, I've had a lot of relationships. That's part of where I draw my expertise from. It's not only from my successes, but from my failures. Sure, we all do. And I would say that relationships can start to fade if they start to become mundane.
I was going to say mundane.
Yeah.
Yep.
If a relationship starts to become a little mundane, and also kind of take a look at what you're doing, how do you spend the time when you're with your spouse? Are you spending that time airing your, just your grievances and your complaints? Are you nagging? Are you looking for ways for them to do things for you? Maybe don't forget to try to always keep it sexy.
Yeah.
I would say that, the day in and day out in your relationship should all just be like one long foreplay, where you're just constantly trying to romance each other and put a smile on one another's faces. If the bloom is coming off the rose, then maybe a little self-reflection on what you could do differently.
I think that
It's like when the dog trainer comes over. He didn't really teach the dog to do anything. He teaches you.
he does.
This
He's very
isn't about
good.
how you can get your husband to do things differently. This is about how you can do things differently to create a different atmosphere with your husband.
I mean, case in point, I take great joy out of making you a perfect cappuccino every morning. And I do it with all the love I can give because I know it just feeds you. And you do so many sweet, unspoken things from me every day that I so
Last night I
appreciate.
made you a heart-shaped cookie.
You did. It was delicious. And it was shaped like a heart. Fantastic. But it's those little things that, you're talking about being in this relationship for a couple of years and the sparkle seems to have gone. It's like, well, I think to Mrs. Truffle's point, surprise him. Do something out of the ordinary, something special. Surprise yourself.
I would say that every time you see him, just kind of rub him behind the ear a little bit and tell him what a good boy he is and pat him and
spank his ass, whatever. Just
rub his tummy.
get it going, girlfriend.
Get his tail wagging again. Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm getting all hot and bothered here. I think can we sign off now? I think it's nap time.
It might be nap time.
Can we talk a little bit about our first guest? Because it's so exciting,
we're
guys.
Super.
This is our first show, our first guest. Well, I don't know if we could have hit a bigger grand slam. I've known Tim and Lisa for now over 35 years. But
it's super exciting.
Tim Dekay, Lisa Dekay, who I met in my early 20s, and who Tim, I've just known and loved both Lisa and Tim for so many years. We were in each other's weddings. And Tim is a very successful actor. A lot of our listeners will know him from White Collar and Seinfeld and Tell Me You Love Me and Carnival, all these HBO shows. Never stops working. But also just the two of them together are such pure love. I mean, they've started it and kept it going all these years, and I've never seen them not be madly in love with each other. I mean, it's really beautiful.
And how could they not be madly in love with each other? They're both so lovely and delightful.
They really are.
Yeah. And we'll be right back with Tim and Lisa Dekay.
For over 40 years, Toysher has been a staple in the Beverly Hills community. Like so many other families in the community, our family has had a long-standing love affair with Toysher chocolates. Over the years, we've formed traditions and memories around these extraordinary Swiss chocolates and the enchanting wonderland of fantasy truffle boxes inside our store. Today, our family is proud to be carrying on the Toysher tradition in Beverly Hills. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the show. We're really excited. I mean, we're always excited, aren't we, sweetheart?
We're pretty excited.
Yeah, but today we are fortunate enough to have literally my dearest friends, maybe in the whole world. Tim and Lisa, Tim Dekay and Lisa Dekay, who I've known for now 30 plus years.
30 plus years,
oh
I
my
think.
God.
Yeah.
And I try not to use too much hyperbole, but these two are pure love in that their romance is a story that needs to be told. I've known them forever, and in many cases, when you're with a couple, there's one that you prefer over the other. It's not the case. If anything, I actually prefer Lisa, even though I've known Tim longer. But they're just a joy to be around and so much fun, and I'm so happy that they agreed to come on the show.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear how you met. So tell us, how did you two first?
Well, we're honored to be here, first of all, to be part of this wonderful, I don't know, kind of adventure into romance and chocolate.
I think that's fair.
Podcast, yeah.
Very exciting.
We met in grad school. 1987, we went to Rutgers University, and we were first-year grad students. And at the time, I think I might have been dating somebody. I know Lisa was.
You were.
And,
Her name was Deborah.
okay. Well,
She was an older woman.
Oh, wow. So Tim and his cougar. Go on.
anywho, I walked in the classroom, and there was this hot girl with short shorts that said ASU on them.
Oh.
And she had an ASU, it was an outfit. It was a tank top,
so
matching.
Oh.
And
you're in grad school now.
Grad school. But still, I had gone to small, upstate, provincial, lovely college, but I led a fairly provincial life. And so when I saw this girl from Arizona, ooh,
Yeah.
boy,
I know.
that is wow.
Well, usually they're on like the top of the hottest girls in college.
You know
right?
what? You're right, but I didn't even think of that.
ASU,
But had I
yeah.
known that,
Yeah.
I would have said yes. Case in point,
Yes.
right there.
Too kind. I have to say, looking back,
You don't remember him
Arizona
at all.
big hair. No, I look back at those photos of us.
Your hair was
Texas, Florida,
Yeah.
Arizona, we do big hair.
had big
New
hair.
Jersey, and we do it well.
Oh. So were you, when you were wearing your Dolphin shorts and your ASU
And my big hair.
crop top and your big hair, were you thinking, you were thinking, I'm in grad school. I'm here to really hone in on my craft.
Oh, yes, I was very serious.
But was there a part of you that said, you know what? You were dating a guy at that point, yes or no?
Yeah.
No.
Lionel. You were dating Lionel.
Oh, we'd broken up.
Oh, well.
So
No,
you
we'd
were-
broken
this
up
is going to
long
be
before.
interesting.
You were single and ready to mingle.
Oh, yes,
so you were-
because I started
okay.
dating Rob.
Oh, right.
Oh, God, I
okay.
almost said his
no,
whole name.
No last names.
Oh, no.
You're right. You're right. You're
Yes,
right.
I was.
My
I was
apologies.
single. I
You
was
were
single.
single.
You were not.
Oh, you were with the older woman.
But could I back up for a second?
Sure.
Because this just dawned on me. Is this not true, Tim, that the only reason you and I even ever met was because, Tommy, you did not take your spot at Rutgers and decided to go to NYU, and you told me Bill Esper called you up and said there's a spot available, and Tim took it.
Yeah.
So look at this full circle.
Yeah.
This is full circle. And
Because Tommy and I had met that summer
I just
prior.
got chills. I got chills.
We met at Shakespeare and Company the summer prior
In the Berkshires,
in the
yeah.
Berkshires.
which is where he met the cougar.
And we and that's
Yeah.
where we met. So okay.
Oh my God, I'm blushing for you. Anyway, yeah.
But-
So
How incredible is that?
that is crazy. Yeah,
And I just remembered that right now.
sliding doors, right?
Yes.
I mean, if not for that, you and I could be married, Lisa.
I'd be married to you, Tommy.
I think so, right?
I think so. I think that's how it works.
I think so.
Yeah. And
In the
I would
whole
be
Venn diagram
Right.
of relationships.
Or
I
perhaps
would
you
have
guys
been-
would have still just met through Tommy in some other
maybe
way.
in some
Yeah.
other way.
True,
Yeah.
because you were friends.
It's not all about you, Tommy.
Well,
Okay.
usually. But okay, so you met. So you're dating someone else at the time, Tim.
I was. It was pretty, honestly, it was casual. But we were assigned scene partners in class.
Oh, what was that scene? Do you remember?
There were a few. There
The first one was a period scene. I
Yeah, it
think.
was. Was it all summer long or
God, you have a good memory. Yep. I think that's what it was.
So were there sparks when you were rehearsing?
Yes, but in a definite sparks as acting partners. We did really well together, and you usually change partners every couple of months, and they kept us together forever. And we worked really well together.
we did?
And we became very close friends because of that. And I started dating another guy at Rutgers, and we would, go over to each other's apartments and talk about our dates or our weekends.
Yeah.
Or we became really, really close friends during that time.
But that's an interesting question because obviously there was something going on.
Yeah.
Because here we are,
Yeah.
married 33 years in May.
Yeah.
So, but I think the environment and the culture at Rutgers and many of these MFA programs where you're studying acting, it's intense. And so I don't know if that intensity and just the zeitgeist of the time and allowed us to have those sparks because we were so focused on work and acting. And so I almost feel, in spite of the fact that we met at Rutgers and at this intense acting program, we still fell in love.
Wow.
I'm kind of interested
Very
because I don't
true.
think I know this story, but you said you were friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
So there was a
Well,
moment.
A long time in college, the first semester.
Oh, really? That was it.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that
I'm-
feels like a
I
long
wanna
time
know-
when you're young.
When was the first kiss? What was that moment?
Oh, well, that was Halloween.
Yeah.
And I was dressed as a 20s flapper. I can't remember what you went as.
I don't think I wanted
And-
anything.
I was in the bathroom putting on lipstick, and the door was open, and he came in, shut the door, spun me around, and kissed me. And I was shocked, he was shocked, and the next day we talked about, oh, no. You're not allowed to date others in the program.
Oh.
This is a mistake. We just had a drink or two, or I don't
Wait,
know
was
what.
that a bylaw within the program? Like you couldn't
It
date
was-
within?
I don't know. I think that was the scuttlebutt, whether or not it was actually true.
Yeah, it
who
was
knew?
because there were only 20 students in
Right.
each class.
Okay, but
So
you're also
they-
adults. I mean, you're in your
Yeah,
adults,
exactly.
yeah.
Good point.
But
Good
so
point.
we said,
I know I was
no,
an
we're
adult.
we're just friends. This was just a blip, and that was it.
Yeah, because first day back or first evening back, the whole class kind of gathered at this bar. And I wouldn't say I was ignoring Lisa, but I just wanted to. She was seeing. I knew she had seen her old boyfriend when she went home, and so I
No,
just
I
thought
did
I'd
not.
play it cool. And we didn't really connect the way we had connected the first semester. So I went home. She went home, and she called me. Yeah.
No, you called me.
I know. I was gonna and I called you, and I said, in so many words, I apologize, we got to talking, and this is like 2:00 in the morning, on the phone we're talking, and why were you that way? Why couldn't we have? I missed you. Well, yeah, but I don't know how you feel. How do you feel? And you didn't say anything. And I said, just say it. Just say it. And she said, what do you want me to say? That I'm in love with you? I said, yeah. And she said, I'm in love with you. I said,
Oh,
I'm in love with you too.
what?
I'll be over in 5 minutes.
And he
Wow.
ran in the harsh
And it was
January,
January
New Jersey
snowing,
snow
and
to my house, my apartment, and we've been together ever since.
That's amazing. See, you know what? We have the cry meter. If you make Mrs. Truffles cry, then it's a love that is pure and meant to be. I don't think I knew that story.
yeah,
That
was,
is.
So, how long from that moment when you professed your love for one
Yeah.
another until the engagement? How long did it take, and how did that happen?
That was so the program is 3 years long, and it was our second summer that we got engaged. So I will let Tim take that story because he planned it, and it was really lovely. And
So,
it was a complete shock.
I was doing an opera up in Cooperstown at the Glimmerglass Opera, which is this gorgeous space where a large opera that seats, I could be off on this number, like 800 people to 1,200. It's a large opera house. And it's built in the middle of this field, and beyond the field is what they call Glimmerglass Lake. What is it? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Doesn't matter. But
I have no idea.
when you go to the opera during the summer, the sides of the opera house fold back on themselves, and it becomes this enormous screened-in porch,
Open air.
open-air opera
Oh,
house.
my God.
But it's screened in it's
Stunning.
roof.
Wait,
and
Cooperstown?
in Cooperstown. It's
Stunning.
always incredible how you get these communities, these little towns where opera has
God.
taken a hold of it.
Crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, I was doing an opera there. Non-singing role was the Casey at the Bat, and I played Casey, based on the poem about the baseball player. And I decided I wanted to ask her up there, and she had come visited me we were there for a couple of weeks, and my mom had given me a family ring, and so the night after one show, I had the stage manager leave. The house lights kind of like halfway dim and gold, and the stage was beautifully lit, but the lights were down. The ghost light was there, and the rest of the cast was waiting for us at the bar where everybody would go after a performance. And,
They knew this was going to happen, or no?
They knew it.
Okay.
Yeah, they knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
They knew that it was going to happen. There's a moment in the play where I get down on one knee and I sign an autograph for a little kid. There's a moment in the play where that happens. So I say to Lisa, something's not right with that moment. Can we rehearse? Do you mind playing the little kid and just coming out on stage?
You had no idea.
I'll be on one knee.
No idea.
Totally bought it.
Oh my God.
I'll be on one knee, you come out, and then when she ran out, I said, it was the theater that brought us together, so it's only fitting that I ask you here. Will you marry me?
There she goes. Waterworks. Stop it, guys.
Come on.
I've got to deal with this later.
I
That's
was
beautiful.
I was in shock. I was in shock.
You had no clue.
I had no idea. And what
Yeah,
if
because we weren't, honestly, we were two poor kids setting out to be
Students.
actors.
we had
weren't financially
10
ready
cents
for
between
this.
us? Like I did not see that coming. I had no idea.
That's true.
And there were people up in the booth. I guess the lighting people.
Yeah,
there
a
were a
couple
few
people.
people up
Yeah, a
there
couple people.
watched
So
the whole
you,
thing.
I
had no
still don't
idea.
know what you said.
Oh, I said yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cried and then this ring is 1904.
What?
I think it's 1904.
Stunning.
I'm drawing a blank, but it's around the turn. It was purchased at Tiffany's around the turn of the century, and it's his great aunt's.
That's special.
Yeah, really special.
So can we back up for just a moment now? So I just want to circle back to so you had this phone conversation where you admitted your love for each other, but when did you know? When did you first know that you loved him, and when did you first know that you loved? Were you aware?
In hindsight,
Yeah.
yes. Consciously, when did I know that? I guess the moment I said it. It's a great question. When is that moment? When is that moment where I realized
Yeah.
I
There's
love
just
her?
no one else.
I love her. I've got to pursue that.
And it was, looking back, obviously unconscious in me because over Christmas break, I called him just to say hi and catch up because we were very close friends by that point. And when I hung up, my mom said, "Oh, tell me about this one." And I said, "Oh, my friend Tim. She said, "No, this is more than your friend Tim." And I,
Moms know.
Yes, and that was one of those, "Oh, Mom, he's just my friend." But so that's why I think that was able to come out like that.
So maybe
in
she knew before
January.
you knew.
Oh, definitely. I think my mother knew
That's
before
so
anyone.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Love that.
But that first spring, we had the talk, and I think even though we had said that we were in love with each other, we also, we're trying to be adults, and we're going to part for the summer, and maybe it's not the smartest thing to stay together, or do we have a break and make sure this is what we want, what we really want? But we ended up not doing any of that. And do you remember we ended up opening up a savings account together?
Yeah, because we both got jobs, and I think so.
Very significant.
Yes, very significant.
And very significant. But that was certainly the moment we knew that we were in
this for the long
We
haul.
Yeah.
We were a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, so now tell us about the wedding. You guys got married a year later, 2 years later?
Actually, 2 years later.
Was it a
years
big
later.
wedding? Did you?
Not very big.
It was
No,
fun.
it
No,
was- but it
I'm
was
full-blooded
beautiful.
Italian, so by Italian standards, it's probably considered small. 175 people.
175.
Yeah, and we got married in
That's smallish.
Scottsdale. I grew up in Phoenix.
Right. Tommy was one of the groomsmen.
Yes. Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding, and for our honeymoon, we flew into San Francisco.
Yep.
Which was very exciting because we were still living in Manhattan at the time, and then we.
You know what? Let's go back to the wedding.
Okay.
Because she just was so beautiful in that dress coming down the aisle. It just was. Oh, it just crushed me.
And the wedding was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So I think we're both kind of interested in what it is that keeps you guys so in love, going all these years, if there is that one thing that you can kind of point to, is it communication? Is it laughter? What makes a union like this so strong?
I think it's all of the above. I think you definitely have to keep your sense of humor. You have to keep everything in, take a breath and try to keep everything in perspective. But this was told to us very early on, and I think it's very true, that we are a really good team. We are great with each other's strengths and weaknesses and supporting those and working as a team. We do lots of sweet little things for each other that they may seem silly and small, but he makes me a cappuccino every morning and brings it to me wherever I am in the house. There's like little things like that. Or we used to leave notes in each other's suitcases every time one of us would travel for work. We still do a lot of little things like that.
Yeah, I think I've got your back.
Yeah,
We're
a lot of
here
I've got
and-
your back.
Nice. So what advice would you give to young couples or young people looking for love? You would go back and give to yourself, or just that you would give to your kids? What's your best advice?
What we talked about before, but especially to the young couples, don't ever stop making out. Lisa is
I was
the
not
best
expecting that.
kisser ever.
Oh,
And yeah,
Aw.
you are.
Great.
Oh, back at you, honey.
sweet.
Back at you.
Sweet.
That's so sweet.
I would love to hear, you kind of gave that up, but if you were to kind of pinpoint that thing about each other that just kind of lifts your day, right? Like for me, it's like her eyes and her smile fill my heart. Honestly, it's like, she lights up a room, but, no offense. I've got the best kisser in the world. I've got Mrs. Truffles.
Maybe it's a chemistry thing.
She could definitely put her smackers on. But I also make her coffee every day, and it's those little
It's
things.
the little things.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's communication.
Yeah.
And
it's all that.
Having
It's
each
all
other's back, which you clearly do. But for me, it's how I can be my authentic self 100% of the time with her, right? Warts and all. She knows, and she still, after all of that, she still loves me.
Right.
Right? And I feel like you guys have that.
The same.
You
yeah.
can't go 30
Absolutely.
years
We know
and hide
everything,
anything about
warts and
yourself.
all.
It's
Yeah.
all out there. So what is it about Lisa and Lisa? What is it about Tim that is that if there's a thing?
Well, one of the things, one of many actually, but he makes me laugh as much today as he did when I met him. And he's one of the funniest people I know. He has a great sense of optimism. The other thing is he is truly an amazing father. And that makes me fall in love with him every day. I just love that about you. And still very involved and emotionally connected and a beautiful father.
Thank you, honey.
Timmy,
Well,
you are so getting loving tonight. Honestly.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Go on.
For Lisa, I think one of the things that I love about Lisa is that, yes, she's pretty, but her essence lights up a room. Just her energy and her essence.
It really does.
We get that.
We all
So sweet. You're just looking to get lucky tonight.
No,
We all know that. We all know that.
she's so pretty to me. I'm so it's
Aw.
and I just you light up you, as Tommy said. I think if you can find somebody whom you feel lights up a room, that man, take that light bulb with you everywhere you go. You know.
Mrs. Truffles, I think it's the gifting portion of our
think it's time
of our
for the
podcast.
guest
Oh,
code.
yes.
Presents,
Fabulous.
presents. What do we get?
So this is just a little gift
This is
bag.
the only reason I did this.
Yes. A
Oh.
fancy French champagne.
Yeah, it
for you.
is.
Oh, beautiful.
And this for your weekend is so perfect,
Oh my
right?
gosh, beautiful.
Hold on. What else do we have?
Laurent
Go on,
Perrier.
pull it out.
Wow, Laurent
Champagne-
Perrier.
Thank you.
champagne brands.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Timmy.
then-
My good.
Oh,
So
this.
this This is something that I personally make.
Love
It's my
and
love and chocolate, like it's body butter.
It's
but,
love butter. Let's be honest.
Why?
It is. I mean, it's the only thing I use on my face. It's 50% cocoa butter, so it is chocolate, and everything else in there is amazing for your skin. It's jojoba,
Food grade, Timmy. Food grade.
all organic, food grade. You could actually eat that if you add a little sugar to it, and it would taste delicious.
So I could.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's
on.
keep
There,
it
that's
clean.
just a
Look at
little
this.
bag
Right.
of pastries. There's some
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
love
thank
cookies
you.
and
Love
champagne
cookies.
champagne chocolate
Come
cake
on.
in there.
You know,
What
he's
else?
going to eat
What
those
else
in
in
the
there, Tim?
What
car,
else is in
and they're
here?
not going to make it to the weekend.
What?
What is
What is
Have
it?
our
What is this?
champagne
Champagne
truffles.
truffles.
Made with Dom
Gonna
Perignon.
get you drunk.
If I hadn't said it before, this podcast is brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher and the exquisite champagne truffle.
Oh
And
my
that is my very
goodness.
favorite crackling fire candle from Trader Joe's.
Citrus
God.
green.
It has
Yeah.
a wooden wick and it sounds
And it
just like a
crackles? It
crackling
crackles
fire. And
like
it
a fire.
smells
It's
lovely.
Love
fantastic.
crackling.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, the
God.
gifts
This
just
is
keep
it's like the
coming.
Oscars.
Yay,
It's like
yay,
that,
yay,
right?
yay.
It's like
Swag.
Christmas. Fun and this is great. It's a really wonderful idea.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, guys, thanks again for making the trip over the hill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Oh my God, that was awesome. You guys, thank you so much for joining us and being our first guest. That was so much fun. This is For Love and Chocolate, and we'll be right back. This podcast has been brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher Chocolates of Switzerland. Beverly Hills Toysher at 371 North Camden Drive in Beverly Hills has been serving up truffles, pralines, dipped fruits, marzipans, and our world-famous chocolate bars for over 40 years. So, next time you're in Beverly Hills, why don't you come by and visit or shop online at beverlyhillstoysher.com. God, this was fun.
I hope everybody had as much fun as we did.
I kind of came into this whole pet project of yours kicking and screaming, and once again, you've just knocked it out of the park, sweetie, because these are stories that people really need to hear. I mean, I know my love for you is boundless, but I mean, I also, when I hear stories of how other people fell in love, it just makes me love you more. It just takes me. Oh, anyway, I'm really grateful that we're doing this. I'm really happy about it. I think this first show was so much fun. Anyway, thanks again for joining us, for listening. And guess what? We're going to do it again next week. How about that? This show is brought to you by Beverly Hills Toysher Chocolates of Switzerland, home of the world's first and finest champagne truffles. Join us next week for more adventures in everlasting love.